of you here this morning. Let's see who all are here. Let's welcome a few of you. Swati, Lokendra, Karishma, Dhams, Divya, Sneha, PKS 70, Ujwala Madhvi, Rafat. Oh, Rafat is saying hi to Payal actually. Nivi, Kalpana, Neha S. Allure Crown, Mommy Mojo. Can you share your playlist? Let me check which one it was. Best Unplugged Songs from 1990 to 2019. It has a black and white thing. Best Unplugged Songs from 1990 and it comes under like a old and new mashup. Love Bollywood. Yes, me too. Bollywood. Logged in for morning pump up. Yes. Gurvant, Ujwala. Yes. Saubana to all of you. Nivi saying just joined your LBDA. Oh, yeah. I'm so impressed. I mean, we launched LBDA last week in this Insta Live just because I had about a few seats empty. And I can't believe almost more than 65 of you responded. We got lots of you to land up joining. Now the session has shut. So I'm sorry, we won't be able to take in any more people for now. So those of you who are interested in LBDA, you can just put waiting list under this video in case you still have desires to join LBDA. And for those of you who don't know what is LBDA, it's a platform where my coaches have started to train clients that need help. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Have you changed the timings now? Bhavna, you know what, today there was a little bit of a confusion only because I have to go for my visa appointment. So to adjust that, I had to reschedule my entire Wednesday. Because of that, the timing turned 9 o'clock. Ideally, I like to keep it 10 o'clock. But how many of you prefer 9 o'clock? If you feel like the earlier in the day, the better, do let me know in the chat box. Yeah? Saubana, Saubana, Saubana. How to be bold mentally, ma'am? Please suggest. Maybe I think it's about building your confidence slowly but steadily. What do I mean when I say this? Every day do something to take a risk. These can be small risks to get you out of your comfort zone. The more risks you are able to take, the more you will grow your boldness. So it comes over time. Some of us are waiting that we'll become bold, then we'll do the bold things. It works actually in reverse. You have to do the bold things to become bold. Okay, darling? Megha Ring Star. Puja, how do you change your mood to do something important even if no mood to do? What do you tell yourself? Interesting. So, one of the things I think, Megha, that we have to totally understand before we start anything is that you will never be in the mood to do the right things. Okay, I want you to understand this sentence's depth. We are thinking that, you know what, this motivation and inspiration and because I'm writing my goals and now that I have clarity, every time we have to do something outside our comfort zone, we have to remember that, you know what, for most people, when it comes time to take action, they retreat. So you want to be extraordinary. The only difference between an ordinary person and an extraordinary person to me is the ability to do versus the ability to think. Ordinary people keep thinking, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to do it. Extraordinary people just move into action. So when I say that, you know what, I would say create a better version of yourself in your mind. And then keep asking yourself this question, what would that better version do? And keep choosing extraordinary over ordinary. It's not your mood you can fix because the mood will always be we are trained, or rather our default mode is lazy. Our default mode is lazy. I'd rather sit around than do anything. But now that we know that, how can we handle it? Yeah? Sorry, I just suddenly got a cold. Good morning, Puja. Thank you for your lovely inputs which help us grow. Thank you, Yoganidhi. Muskan Koshti. Is there any session? I think the music was playing, so she was wondering. Muskan, very much there is a session, sweetheart. Saubana, Tina Taneja, Puja, I've been in spiritualism, meditating for more than a decade though, not very regularly, still I'm unable to read people, their vibes. I have no sixth sense, no intuition. How do I develop all this? Tina, the most important conversation is the one we have with ourselves. So whatever we tell ourselves becomes our truth. The real truth is there is 1, 2 or 3 people you have misread. And now you think you can't read anybody. Okay, so I'd love for you to go back and see what were the red flags that you missed. So when we meet someone, there is something that we get attracted to. Sometimes that same thing that we are attracted to later on becomes the disaster, correct? So now that we know that, like I remember at one point when I used to meet married couples, if the couple was giving each other a lot of, if the couple was giving each other a lot of space, I used to think, oh, they are a fabulous couple. But the real truth was that the couple that was giving too much space to each other was eventually landing up actually, getting divorced or separating. And I'm thinking, how come every time I think a couple is amazing with each other, they are not staying together? And that became a huge issue for me, that I was like, oh my God, I'm not able to read couples or what? Now I know that when I meet a couple that's giving too much space to each other, there is something I am not able to see on the surface level, but there is a problem there. Because too much space is actually indifference. And most couples that fight are not the ones who separate. It's the couples that actually are indifferent to one another that land up separating. So once I knew that, I realized that I was just reading the sign wrong. So I want you to know, Tina, that sometimes we are reading the sign wrong. It's not that we are not getting the signs or that sometimes we don't know how to read the signs. Start to go back in time and look at what did I read wrong and build your intuition from there. A time will come, you will become better than most people who know how to do it even naturally, because anything you feel you are less in, go study it. You feel you're less in happiness, go study it, you'll become very good in happiness. You feel you're less in success, go study it. The beauty in the world right now is that knowledge is available at a level where every YouTube video, books, there's so much knowledge. There's no lack of knowledge. The question to ask yourself is, are you studying the topic that you're interested in? And you start to study it, spend 30 minutes a day for the next 30 days to any one topic. Rather, let me ask you all in the chat box. Can you put one topic in the chat box that you are willing to spend the next 30 days spending 30 minutes on? All you need to do is Google it, watch a video. Google it, watch a video. Or go to a bookshop, pick up as many books on that. Nutrition, such a beautiful topic. Happiness, such a beautiful topic. Even just creating good habits, handling our moods, handling toxic people. You can master any of these topics now sitting from the comfort of your home simply by deciding that I'm going to spend 30 minutes learning this topic. Yeah? Beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's take a few more questions. I've come right to the bottom of the page because of, I think, the scrolling that happened. Any chance of motivational session for teenagers as they are on the threshold of life unfolding for them? Hamza Gopal Swami is asking. I don't plan to take any sessions for teenagers, but they are more than welcome to come for my Insta Live. I'm sure that in itself is a motivational session. However, I do have lots of coaches under me who love helping teenagers. So if you're interested in that, Hamza, you know what, get in touch with us, speak to Radhika Gunjan in my office, and maybe she can put you on to someone who is interested or who is doing that thing, okay? Helping teenagers. Life coach Farida, very good morning. Thank you so much for sharing such a valuable information. Thank you, Farida. Neha Hess, how can I convince my husband to focus on me and our child also, as he only takes care about his parents' family? Thanks in advance. So is TIA thanks in advance? I just figured that out. Okay. How do I convince my husband to focus on me and our child also? Neha, see, the minute you say this, you are in some ways, adding a negative conversation to your husband, because what tends to happen is that when we speak this, our tonality can sound like, give us importance, give us importance. The easiest way to get your husband to do that is to start to focus on his parents and his family a little more. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but the real truth is that when he will start to feel that you are doing it, then he will start to focus on you. If he feels like he's the only one who's having to focus on them, then his energy will stay there because he knows you're already focusing on the child. So he's trying to balance it out. If you can help him balance his parents and his family, he will start to shift his focus on you. So see if you can reprogram your mind into believing that it's not his attention that you need, but his partnership that you need to work on, that both of you should have similar goals. So, recently Puneet and I were going to Singapore with our parents. One of the things I told Puneet was, you focus on mine, I'll focus on yours. Automatically everything will come into balance because you focusing on your own will happen naturally. Me focusing on my own will happen naturally. I will attend to my parents, you will attend to your mom and bua. But what if I told you, you go a little step aage for my parents and I'll go aage for yours. That way what will happen is that both of us will land up balancing the whole thing. And it worked out so beautifully. So my suggestion is, anytime you want someone's attention, see where are they putting their attention and both of you focus on that same thing for attention. You will start to see that as you start to become useful to the person, because now what he values, you value, naturally you will see a certain shift happening. I hope that was helpful. Lennon Bhaskar, hi mentor. Ganoderma and spirulina, very good for health. I'm getting good results for cold and cough too. Actually, I haven't had a cold since Maldives. So I've been really saying this again and again that, my health has just completely taken a full turn. I used to get a lot of cold earlier, if you notice, or my eyes used to be dry, and I had so many of these health issues that were happening, especially post-COVID when I'd gotten COVID, and last 1 month has been clean, but I do have an issue with perfume, and I just sprayed perfume on myself and I came and sat for this. So I have a feeling it's this particular perfume that I should avoid. Carry 15. Do you have a personal Insta and others for followers, or should we keep personal and public account separate? It all depends on how private a person you are. I do not have a separate personal account. This is my only account for me because honestly, everything that I want to share, I can share with the world. I don't have any hesitations as such. Some people are extremely private. Now, I am extremely private, so I don't share what I don't want to share, even with the people that I'm closest to. So I don't need a personal account that I need to share this only on my private account. It's not like I'm wearing clothes or I'm doing anything that can only be shared privately. So for me, I have only one account, depending on the life you want to project. So if your life is different from the life you want to project, then you need two accounts. If your life is the same, then it doesn't matter so much. So look at what is it in your private account that you would be sharing that you can't share in your public account. And in case they are not in synchronization, then have them separate. I know a lot of superstars or celebrities who feel the need to have these two separate accounts. Makes sense for them because you know what, they don't want the world to be exposed to their personal life. I don't really have such a rocking personal life, to be very honest, where I have something more to share. Whatever I'm doing, I'm quite in sync with that. So you know what I mean, right? Lovely. All of you have given all your topics of what you're going to spend the whole next month. 30 days, 30 minutes every day. Karishma's creation. If 18 years girl goes out and her just married picture to parents where they are unaware of anything, how to handle this shock moment, blaming themselves? So some 18-year-old girl has run away and gotten married, and her parents have just seen the picture of her marriage and they are in shock and they are blaming themselves. How to handle that? Is that your question, I'm going to guess? Karishma, you know what? Firstly, take 24 to 48 hours just for the information to get digested. Any time we come across a situation that has thrown us off guard or off track, the most important thing is to first get our emotions back in equilibrium. This is very important, because if we start reacting and responding and doing everything just as we receive the information, our life at that time feels devastated, okay? It feels like everything's crashed. So we mustn't operate from that energy. So I always say, whenever I hear something that is hard to cope with, I like to give myself 24 hours to 48 hours before I pick up the phone or I react or I speak to someone. I need to digest and process this information. And when your emotions are high, your intelligence goes low. So the higher the emotion, the lower the intelligence. That is why we land up saying things like, I don't know what I was thinking, I don't know how I said that, or why I behaved in that manner. That's because emotionally, when we get charged up, our intelligence gets blocked. Having said that, once that 24 hours to 48 hour period is over, now they need to sit down and see what can they do. Sometimes we can't undo what has already happened, right? So we have to see, do I want to accept it? Do I want to confront it? Was this a non-negotiable? Do I want to remove her from my life for the way she's acted? It's all on you now. If relationships is something you value, you will accept and understand. If beyond relationships, your self-respect or your ego or your personal preference is that, no, I'm sorry, I cannot accept this behavior, which is a lot of old school parents who just don't understand, then they choose to not speak to this person for a couple of years or for the rest of their life or till she has a baby. It all depends. She's made her choice. Now they have to make theirs. She's made her choice. She will now have to face the consequences of the choices she's made. She knew somewhere that this could be an option, that she may never get to speak to them again, or they may never understand, but she still took that choice, right? Which means her love for whoever she has run away with is greater than her love for her parents right now, currently. Very much possible. I've seen many such cases work out and I've seen many such cases not work out. Sometimes the parents were absolutely right and the girl lands up making a big mess of her life. Sometimes the girl knew exactly what she wanted and she knew there was no way she could convince their parents. So for me, it's not right or wrong. It is just that they have to now start to look at, how they want to deal with it. Do they want to abandon her and let her live on her own now that she made the choice? Or do they want to help her, that it's okay, she was 18, she made a decision, now let's support her, guide her, be there for her, so that further she's not lost in her life. So all depends on how they would like to do that, okay? As far as blaming themselves is concerned, that's natural, no? Every parent, whenever in their child's life something goes wrong, we tend to go into look within and say, what could we have done better? So instead of blaming, I love to ask myself the question, what could have I done better? And if sometimes I realize, I did the best I could, this is the choice they made, then I don't hammer myself. So see if you can help them to stop hammering themselves. I'm getting married in the next 20 days. Any suggestions to make it a happy married life? Firstly, massive congratulations to you, Garima Sumani. That is so lovely. What a beautiful stage to enter into life. Having said that, I feel like I used to always say that the first year for me was all of losing the expectations that had got built. What do I mean when I say this? That there's a certain expectation we go into in a marriage. And a lot of them get met, but a lot of them don't get met. See, one of the most important things to understand is the family that we come from is not the family we are going into. So what was considered right or appropriate or amazing in your house currently could be the exact opposite in the house that you're going into. Maybe they don't appreciate that culture, the way of being and everything. And I think the first year for the girl is always about bridging the gap of who she is and who she is, what kind of a house she's come into, to keep the good of her own house and to add to her goodness through the new house. There are good things that will be happening in the new house. There'll be good things that she will bring from her parents' house. I think bridging that gap is very important. Especially when I got married, I remember in the initial days, my biggest struggle was that they are mangoes, I'm an orange. The best mango I can be is a fake mango because I'm actually an orange. I don't really belong to that set of values. And that bridging was, to me, one of the big things that happened. And I think over the years, I do believe that I really picked up the best of the Guptas and brought in a little bit of what I felt like I could contribute, and that marriage has happened really beautifully. So the first year it was more about surrendering to how they do it. The second year was more about marrying it to how I would like to do it. And by the third year, there was a lot of, how I wanted it. It started to get cemented. So the first 2 years, you are in a lot of uncertainty. And I think learning to enjoy that uncertainty, learning to know that, you know what, it will get certain over time. Don't try to get it right in the first year or in the second year. The first 2 years are all about exploring and seeing really how I want to build this life. And try to minimize your emotional reactions as much as you can, so that you can start to be mature. I remember making so many mistakes in the first 2 years. I wish I had spoken lesser. I wish I had been more tolerant. I wish I had, taken my time to get mature. I got married at a really young age. So by the time I hit maturity, I made a lot of mistakes. And I would suggest to you, and these days girls are far more mature than what I was when I was getting married. So I believe that I think going into this whole thing with an open heart, that nobody is wrong. It's just about learning to respect the difference. That it can be different and it can be respected. And yours can be different and that too can be respected. And that the fight is not with the husband or his family. The fight is that you just don't know how to do it their way. And so why are we accusing the family or the husband? First few months are honeymoon, so don't worry at all. But whenever it will start to show up, it will start to show up. And whenever it does start to show up, just remember, nobody is wrong. Everybody's just coming from their own experiences to the best capacity that they understand. So once you understand that they are all coming from whatever they understand, it's not against you, they're not doing it purposely to you, then it becomes a little more easier to deal with. So Garima, I know you would have loved a more beautiful picture, but you know what? To handle the beautiful picture will be the easy part. If everything that I've said doesn't come true and it's like a smooth ride for you, may God bless you, may that be your truth. But I'd rather prepare you for what can go wrong than rather prepare you for what can go right, because what can go right does not need preparation, but what can go wrong does need preparation. So all the best, my darling. Life coach Priya Darshini Mol Mudra, what an answer, ma'am. Love your wisdom. Oh, thank you. So sweet. Yashpur Gowda, my hubby spends most of the time and money with his riding group friends, partying daily. When I want to communicate, he does not like to have that conversation at all. He says I can't change, but how to communicate? Why do I feel like I've answered this question earlier also? I have a feeling you've already asked me this question and we've already kind of addressed it at a previous time. I'm just going to say that again to you, that you know what? Till the time your focus is to take him away from his pleasure, he will not change. He has no consequences to face. This is exactly what I said last time also. What does he gain by leaving his friends? What does he gain by stopping his partying? Nothing. So you have to see what is it, how can you play a role? Okay, you want to communicate to him that you want more conversation. Focus on what it is you want rather than what is it that he's doing. I'm going to repeat that. Focus on what is it you want rather than what is it he doing. I used to spend the first 10 years telling Puneet, you work too hard, you're always on your phone, you're always attending to your clients, you're always doing this, you're always doing that. Unhappy with the way he was with me. And then I started to say, on Wednesdays, can you take me out for dinner? You do what you want over the weekends, but on Wednesdays, can you take me out for dinner? Yes. Every 3 months, can you take me on a holiday? Yes. So start to focus, shift your entire focus onto what is it you want, okay? And now if he doesn't agree that he's willing to do it, you have to see where in this relationship are you contributing? Because if the only contribution is from his side, he's not going to care, because you know what? Now that you are his wife, now that he's got you, he has no loss, correct? So you have to see how are you adding value to his life, to his needs, for you to become valuable enough that he listens to you. Rather, this is for every woman. You know, a lot of times in our marriage, we are expecting our men to change. Why? Because they should. Should doesn't work. You have to see what are you bringing to the marriage, what is he bringing to the marriage, and how can you both make it so beautiful that each other's needs become important. Why should he do that? Ask yourself that question. If today I told you climb Mount Everest, would you do that? No. Why? Because you don't have any interest in climb Mount Everest. But if I told you, okay, on top of Mount Everest, there's $1 million, and let's say you have an interest in $1 million, now you'll climb Mount Everest. So at the end of whatever you are offering to him, is there anything that he can get in the process? Look at his needs. Sit down and ask him, what do you need from me? How can we work on this relationship? Because if he has no needs, then he's not going to be, let's say he likes you to cook a meal a certain way. So you say, okay, fine, this whole week I'll cook what you absolutely love. In return, can you take me for dinner or for a whatever it is you want in your life? So look at how, a lot of people say, oh, I can't barter, Puja. It's not a business. We are in a relationship. Every single relationship, business or no business, is always about fulfilling each other's needs. If you're not fulfilling each other's needs, it will become a redundant relationship very quickly. Now, there is a need that is being met in hanging out with his riding group. Whatever that need is. If every time he's coming and being with you, he's getting to hear negative things about the family, the children, the staff, or he's getting, you start to complain because you hardly get a chance to be with him. So when he's with you, you're complaining to him because that's the energy you're living in. Then every time he's coming to you, you're actually repelling him. So make sure that, when he does come to you, you make it so interesting, so fun, so exciting that he should feel attracted to come to you. I remember there was a time when I banned myself from talking a few topics that I knew are of no interest to my husband and made a list of all the topics I knew he loves talking about so that I look a little more interesting to him. Now, once I had spoken on the topics that interest him, then I would move into the topics I was interested in talking about. So, over time, you culture yourself, or you rather train yourself to communicate in a manner that the other person will listen. It takes time. It's a lot of hard work. Will it happen quickly? Not at all. But is it worth it? The relationship is an everlasting one. So, better make that effort, hai na? Shukla Vishwa. Good morning, ma'am. I'm a 30-year-old. I'm searching for a partner to marry. I want the guy who is independent, but after taking 2 or 3 guys, I realized that they are not communicative at all, and every time I have to initiate. So Vishwa, what I'd love for you to do is sit and make a full list of the kind of guy you want. So one of them could be that you want him to be independent, but add another clause to the list. No, say independent but communicative. Okay, remember, the more clarity we have, the more we will attract. And then one of the things I always say is we mirror who we attract. Our frequency mirrors who we attract. So you yourself need to become independent and communicative. Having said that, another version of this is that, normally if both partners are communicative or both partners are the same, your relationship can turn very boring. So sometimes it's actually good to have the opposite. So I speak a lot, Puneet speaks less. That's a good thing in some ways. You know why? Because one becomes the receiver, one becomes the talker. So like that, you can also start to look at where in your relationships can you start to look for complementing qualities, not just the same qualities. Lavyogeshwari Sundrani. How to make your child listen to you more? Simple, listen to him a lot more. The more you want your voice to be heard, train the child in listening to their voice. I remember Mahatria, one of my teachers, used to say this beautifully, that in the beginning, show the child by giving what is important to them importance. So when we give importance to what is important to our child, they start to have this understanding that if what is important to me, mom finds important, then what is important to her, I must find important. So over the years, then you culture everybody in the house into believing that, you know what, whatever is important to whoever is important for the household. So at one point, I remember in my house, the rule used to be that if it is important to you, communicate it, and in the next 24 hours, I will organize it for you. Whether it is powder or batteries in your remote control, or you want to eat pasta, not rajma chawal, it doesn't matter, but everybody started to give importance to each other. So for mom, if it was important that every morning the children come and hug and kiss me, then please listen to that, because that's what's important to her. Let's not judge each other's importance. Let's provide for each other's importance. And when you start to set that culture, the whole household changes. But the culture only gets set from top to bottom, which means do not ever use sentences like because I am the mom or I decide or any of that. You always first honor the child for him to honor you back. So always start with what's important to him. I remember at one point I used to say I've done PhD in Beyblades, in FIFA, in topics that were of no interest to me, superheroes, because you know what? Because I had both boys. So whatever they wanted to talk is what I spoke with them. Correct? So see if you can practice this, my darling. Cosmic vibration. My day started after watching your videos. Thank you so much for adding so much value in our lives. Thank you, Cosmic Vibration. Shukla Vishwa. So please, ma'am, tell me how to handle this because I want to also initiate and communicate. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I think I already answered your question, sweetheart. Akritya Amitya 218. My age is 15. Oh, wow. Sometimes I feel left over and I can't focus what to do next in my life. See, Akritya, actually, if you are 15 years old, the real truth is that currently you already have an education that will be going on for you. So if you don't know right now what is next in your life, I feel like right now you don't even need to know. Rather, I have a 21-year-old son who I tell him, I say for the next 5 years, you don't really have to know what it is you love doing. Just keep exploring. So the word for you, Akritya, if I'm pronouncing your name right, is exploration. It's not about knowing. This is not your age to know. It's about exploring. So whatever charms your curiosity, write this down, charms your curiosity, whatever pulls your attention, go and explore that. And as you keep exploring, a time will come where you will start to get a lot of clarity. Now, I don't exactly know what the word left over means in this context, but I'm just going to guess that maybe you're feeling you've been left behind. I'm just guessing that. So in case that is the case, don't worry at all. You know, the beauty of school and college is that you can catch up very quickly to wherever you need to be. So some people blossom at the school level, some people blossom at the college level, but you know what, the best time to blossom, to me, according to me, is to blossom in life, and life only starts when education stops. So in case at any point any student feels left behind, they have nothing to worry, because you can totally catch up when life starts. Yeah. Happy Mom Hub. Puja, how did you manage your time during the initial stages of coaching? I'm a happiness coach for moms and I want to do live sessions, but I feel like I'm burning out. Ooh. Honestly speaking, I feel like the only time I have felt like I'm burning out is when I was undercharging. So more than how you manage your time, I'm going to ask you to look at what are you charging and see if you can double your charges, because you know what, when we are undercharging, we start to get juiced, and people, the client that should have actually left us with higher energy lands up leaving us with lesser energy because we gave much more than what we are getting in return. So I'm going to request you, anytime the word burnt out comes, that means there is not a fair exchange of energy happening, which means you're not getting paid for what you are doing in the correctest manner. Having said that, if you talk about time with me, I used to go to work at 10ish and I used to be back by 5. That used to be normally my work timings, 10 to 5, and I used to also come home for lunch. My work was only just about 5 minutes walk from my house, so it was quite convenient. Meeting clients was the usual way. I used to try to keep days. I used to make heavy days. So normally I divide my week into 3 parts. Okay, there is the delivery days. These are the days I'll be meeting clients. Then there used to be prep days. So if I was creating a course or if I was studying something or any of that, so prep days. And then there used to be rest days. At least 2 to 3 days a week I used to believe in rest, because I'm a big believer that 4 days a week is more efficient than 5. The more you can compact into lesser days in the week, the more rest days you get. And you don't want to spend the whole life just working. No, you want a nice harmony of or melody of life to be there, where you are also having fun and working. That combo, I think, is very, very essential, at least to me. So I'd love for you to start to look at, let's say you decide Monday, Wednesday, Friday are going to be my work days. Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be my prep days. And Saturday and Sundays are going to be my rest days. So delivery days, sorry, I think I said rest days. Delivery days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, prep days the other 2 days, and rest days the other 2 days. See if you can manage that. Sometimes I like to do that even in the day. For example, my prep happens from 4 to 8 in the morning. And then I like to move into 4 to 8 in the morning, and then I like to move into my delivery by about 10 after getting ready. So 10 to 5 is delivery, and then 5 onwards it's only rest. So rest and family time. So even during the day you can have a split like that, or during the week also you can have a split like that. But definitely look at the money that is coming in, because burnout word only happens when there's no fair exchange. Shivani Mehta, how to overcome procrastination. For all of you here who are asking me this question of mood, of, my suggestion is, on a daily basis, what's something that motivates and inspires you early in the morning? Early in the morning, put back, like how we brush our teeth, do something to get yourself charged up for the day. One of the questions I love asking myself is, how can I live today with my highest energy? What all would I like to get done? How would I like to operate? Because you know what, sometimes when we are not knowing our why strong enough, then we tend to lose that energy. One of the things lately I've noticed is I've started to outsource my vision in a manner that, you know what, I have people around me who've started to think for me on where they see me going. And when they tell me, like, Pooja, we are imagining this for you, or we are imagining that for you, I just love picking up on that energy that may whatever they are thinking come true, God, because I'm really enjoying that these days. So I'm going to ask you the same thing, that don't focus on procrastination. Focus on, why is this important? Do you know your why? Do you know why this would be important for you? Because some of us don't know our why. We are just doing it because we need to do it. The other conversation I always have around procrastination is it really procrastination, or are you just hitting the real deadline? Remember, in our lives, we have artificial deadlines and then we have real deadlines. What's the difference? One is a deadline by when we would like to complete something. One is a deadline that if it doesn't get completed by then, we lose that opportunity itself. So for example, let's say I have a presentation on Saturday morning. Now, I would love to have my presentation ready by Thursday. So my artificial deadline is Thursday. Because you know what, only then I can send it for color correction to make sure the spellings are not right. So, because there's a perfectionist in me, so that procrastination, so there's that artificial deadline that I've created for myself. It's not exactly artificial, but it is the correct deadline if I want to get everything right. But when my PPTs actually get ready? 15 minutes before my Saturday's presentation. Now, if you're not even getting ready by Saturday's presentation, then you can call that, that means you're totally off track. But I've seen that most people that procrastinate, they are just going till the end. Now, one thing I'll tell you, I don't know if you remember in school, sometimes we used to say that we'll study one chapter every week so that by the time exams come, all 10 chapters are learnt. But we couldn't study one chapter a week before, but we could do full 10 chapters one day before the exam. So I always say that there is a certain amount of efficiency portal that opens up when we go into the panic of having to deliver. Let me repeat this sentence because very important to understand this concept. There is an efficiency portal that opens up when we are very close to our delivery, which means what you couldn't get done in a week, you can get done in an hour when we are in panic of, I need to deliver like in the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. And that efficiency portal is also very essential because in the least amount of energy, we are able to create the maximum impact. And sometimes our body needs to move into that space for us to be able to achieve better. Now, I do believe that that's not the way you want to live your whole life, but every now and then that's how success happens. Success does not, if you meet any successful person, it is not that they are super organized or they don't have shabbiness behind them or their life is not chaotic. They are also going from deadline to deadline, but they understand this, that you know what, they have to stop expecting it all to be super organized and to be okay till the time the ball is rolling forward, till the time there is progress, not perfection, progress, they can, applaud for themselves. So I feel like a lot of times where we are using procrastination as a word, it is just an artificial deadline that we are not able to meet, and that the real deadlines, most of us make it to that. So I'd love for you to, and the things that don't happen could be that they are important to us, but they are not urgent enough. So see if you can start to make the important things urgent so that they become, they happen in our lives far more easily. So I know while a lot of you want the answer to be how to get over your laziness or how to, the truth is that whatever I have seen of my success and the success of all of my fellow mates, I can tell you that for most of us, we will be able to say this, that we thought of the idea the previous day and executed it the next day because there was no other option. Sometimes I will be preparing 15 minutes before the speech that I need to give, and I'll be cursing myself that, I wish I'd done this before, but I know it wasn't possible earlier on. So see if you can get all of that and see if you can avoid using this word procrastination that we so casually and easily use, while the truth is sometimes it's just divine delay. Divine delay is that we allow for some of the delay to happen automatically because we know that our efficiency portal will only open then. Okay, so don't get too worked up with your procrastination. Yes, if your why is not clear and you're really failing in life, then you look at what are the things that are important and build a stronger why, and then read it out to yourself every day, every day, every day, every day. Bhavna, how to keep the consistency for physical fitness? I'm going to go back to actually the answer I gave. How important is physical fitness in your life? You know what? I think one of the most important things in our life that we have to do is we have to start to learn to marry our values with what it is we want to achieve in our life. Let me repeat that. We have to learn to marry what is our values. Values are things that matter to us. When I want to start to focus on physical fitness, I have to make physical fitness matter to me, which means looking thin, looking healthier, being healthy should matter to me. But not everything matters to everybody. For my husband, health is priority. For me, health is important more to execute my priorities, not as my priority. Health is not my number one priority. It may be my number 5 or number 6. So at what level do you think exercise will exist in my life? Till the time, for me, the word vitality is far more important than health. That I need a certain amount of energy to be able to do the work I do. And so to keep myself energized, whatever I need to do in my health, I will do. And if I see my health falling and my vitality falling, forget health falling, if I see my vitality falling, then I tend to focus a lot more on my health, okay? So all of us have to know why we were doing what we want to do. So if you can come up with a solid reason, if you can give yourself a solid reason on why this physical fitness is important to you, then you see how naturally and automatically you will start to go towards it. For example, I personally don't care about my weight or how much I weigh. But honestly, lately I've been feeling like, there's a wedding coming up of a very close friend's son. And I would love to lose a couple of kilos. I want to pick up some nice outfits and I want to look nice in that. So I would like to lose. So now suddenly I'm feeling like I have a reason why I want to lose my weight. So see if you can find yourself something, a reason why that's important to you, and then it'll become much easier for you to stick to your routines and your consistencies. Happiest Jasleen, can you please tell me, can I remove evil eye from my child without putting kala tika or any other such thing? Happiest Jasleen, you can just every single day use your imaginary facet to build a protection wall for your baby, okay? So you don't need to do anything in terms of the evil eye or the black thread. They all do the same thing. They create a protection aura, which you can just do with a mantra. You create your own mantra. You don't even need a mantra from any religion. You just start to say, oh Lord, please protect him from all evil eyes today, and may he have the energy greater than anybody else that's trying to put an evil eye. Or naturally also when that evil eye comes, I always feel like we are greater than the evil eye that's being put on us. We just have to grow in our aura. Okay, there's a period in our life where nazar lagti hai. You know what I mean by nazar lagti hai? We become vulnerable. The first time Shah Rukh Khan came on the cover of Cineblitz, usko nazar lag sakti hai. Today when he comes on the cover of Cineblitz, nobody cares because he's on 100 covers, correct? So there is a period where the first time your child eats 3 paranthas, so everybody can put nazar. Or the first time someone meets him and he finds him really cute, nazar can happen. So it's always you're beating the first, correct? So when the first time you know you're doing anything, see if you can just quickly say a prayer to protect your child, okay? And then just ward off the evil eye. I believe in the evil eye because it's there in every culture, every religion. So if you just across from the Amazonian jungle to Egypt civilization to anywhere, you will see that this concept of evil eye does exist. So if it exists, it must be there. But I do believe we are stronger than any evil eye that can be put on us just by us becoming super hyper aware. So when you are aware, you know, sometimes you still may catch it, but you'll be able to get over it much faster because you are aware. So there are days when I do catch it, like, you know, I may have done something where I just had to receive a lot of energy of a lot of people at one go. And because of that, I may feel drained or I may fall sick or something, you know, my immunity may fall. I can very quickly work on that and fix myself. So just have this powerful belief that beyond any ritual, your energy can protect your baby. That your energy is your baby's protection, especially if every day you can do that for your baby. Yeah? Doodle Clothing Official, how to overcome anxiety of separation. So anytime in life when you are feeling any sort of anxiety, the most important thing is to ask yourself, what is the story I'm giving myself? So if the story you're giving yourself, and I don't know in what context you mean separation, is this separation of a relationship? Is this separation because of death? Is it separation because somebody's moved abroad? There are so many different levels of separation that I'm not sure what you're speaking about, but see if you can tell yourself a better story. So let's take all of these 3 scenarios and create a story around each one. Let's say the anxiety of separation is coming from the fact that this person you're in a long distance relationship. Then what is it that you can tell yourself? Oh my God, at least I am so lucky that I have Zoom, I have all of these technology features where even if the person is far in physicality, they are very close in my heart. Let's say it's a separation of breakup. You know, you've lost this person to someone else, or generally that person has moved on and so you're feeling that anxiety. I think if you can start to replace it with the thought that something better needs to come into my life because of which God has taken this away, and you can start to in your heart truly believe that, you know, all that you needed to learn from this person has already happened, and for the better to come, this person had to leave your life. When you start to believe that, you will start to feel less anxious. And of course, if the separation is because of the person departing, the soul itself has departed, then I would like you to start to have a new relationship with death in itself. You know, once we start to believe that death is actually that soul meeting God, and we stop looking at death in a negative manner rather than the fact that now we have a hotline in heaven that we can speak to at any point. We don't need their physical presence. So many times I ask people who've lost people, can you feel their energy? Sometimes can you see signs of them being around you? Can you hear their voice through your intuition or through your gut. And most people, if they were very close to that person, are still in touch with that person without that person's physical presence. So I'd love for you to start to explore through death that, you know what, if there is a possibility of me being in touch with the soul, then what is there to lose? Why am I thinking of this as a loss? Why can't I think of this as, oh wow, the soul is now finally with its creator, and there is no better place to be in than to be with your creator. So if we can start to look at death differently, then that anxiety will also go. Having said all of this, the real truth is all anxiety comes from the story we tell ourselves. If we can change the story that we are telling ourselves, anxiety will vanish. So always try to come from a place of love than from a place of fear. You know, both my children live in the UK now, and because they live so far away, as a mother, I often get anxious. It's bound to happen, no? And one of the things I keep telling myself is, Puja, stay in the space of love. Know that it's all going to work out. Your fear of any harm coming to them, or your fear of their life, or your fear of their security, or your fear of their college education is not going to help them. So see if you can build more faith and surrender in God. Anytime I want to handle my anxiety, I ask myself, is there anything I can do about it? If yes, I do that. I ask myself, is there anything I can do about it? And the answer is no. Then I say, God, now this you have to handle for me. Because I am feeling anxious, but my anxiety, I can't do anything about it. There's no action I can take for this. So you have to handle it for me. And if you can build a beautiful relationship with God, I feel like that is very, very helpful. Okay, so see if you can build a beautiful relationship with God where you start to have this trust in your God so much that my God can't do wrong to me. Whatever he will do, he will have a purpose. Maybe some lesson I need to learn, or something I need to learn, it will never be without a purpose. And once you start to have that as your belief that God can't do wrong to me, I feel like anxiety by itself goes into the dustbin. One of the things my son feels is a lot of anxiety, especially when he has like a lot of performance anxiety. So whenever he has to give an interview or he has to give a presentation, and one of the things he tells me is, Mom, now I have accepted it that, you know what, if I have anxiety, that's a good thing. Because why am I trying to get rid of the anxiety? Let me just live through the anxiety and make sure that because of this anxiety, I will do a better job, because this is important to me, because it matters to me. This anxiety is actually going to serve me. And he's changed the story of, instead of trying to remove anxiety, he has started to believe that the anxiety serves his productivity. So any sort of change in story actually helps. Okay, sweetheart? All right, we're almost at 9:54. Closing time has come. Let me read out quickly the winners of last week. I am so super duper proud of all of you because we had so many of you participate last week. It was mind blowing. So for all of you here, a huge round of applause if you landed up taking a picture, sharing it in your story, and tagging me. If you did these 3 steps, taking a picture, writing the takeaways, sorry, I missed that. So 4 steps. Taking a picture, writing the takeaways of what you learned today, 1, 2 or 3, doesn't matter, and then sharing it in your story and tagging me, then you are someone who has participated so beautifully. You know, we are collecting people over 12 weeks, and then in the end, I'm going to land up doing a Zoom call for all of you where we will get to meet one another, where I'll be able to see you and you will be able to see me, the top 10. Okay, so let me read out who all last week have been recognized. Digital Amalapriya, well, congratulations. Book by Tess with Kavita, congratulations. Devika _wins, congratulations. Aditi _Ashish Kumar, super congratulations. Dr. Umati, congratulations. Zara Hali _17. The designer Priyanka, super congratulations. Narita Art, super congratulations. Allure Crown, super congratulations. Gargi Arya 2007, super duper congratulations. Anita Gupta .official, super congratulations. Lakshmi Ravi Shankar _official, super congratulations. Gauri 1811, I feel like this is my Instagram family. Your names have become so familiar to me. Shilpa Dadich 1, hiring mentor. Megha Kapoor's Barbie Hangoliat, I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing your name right, so I'm just going to go with Barbie. Image Design Consultancy, Kaveri Shubham, Shweta HS Shweta's, Madhu Flair, Sharamjeet _ K, Mindset Motion NLP, April Melody _ Scribbles, Yummy _ Foodbox by Suga Priya, artist Puja QnA, Ujjwala _ Mashvi 15, Puja Ramesh _ Punjab, Simani and Kritika _ Setia. So happy to see 29 of you, participated last week. Along with that, of course, we have 3 winners of this week, which is Puji Sopas, artist by _ Jennifer, and Mezag, MEHZAG, Mezag. So if you are here, super duper congratulations to all of you. Let's go right to the bottom and see who all are here. If you haven't yet finished taking a picture, let's quickly pose for that. Got it? Quickly take a picture, whichever angle you like. I have no problem, anything. Yeah. Mona Mika's _ Bakes is saying, you missed my name. I had also participated. Just write to us. Maybe we haven't seen it for whatever reason. Normally Divya is doing a fabulous job of keeping count. So sometimes what can happen is that you may think you have tagged us, but because we are not able to share it in our story, your name may not have got counted. Okay. All right, Mansi. Thanks for the session. Where are your earrings from? Love them. Oh, they're very old. I can't even remember where I got these from. I think Dubai. I'm not sure. All right, let's start to close. We're 1 minute away. Thank you everybody for coming. So happy to have you all here. Do share with me what was your greatest takeaways from today. Yes? Bye everyone. Ciao. Love you so much. Thank you for coming.